News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
I just got an alert right now. It is down 1,800 points.
Damn.
So hopefully that hemorrhage stops at some point. Did you guys hear about Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. So that's this new area basically that's popped up in Seattle after officers left the Seattle Police Department's East Precinct and boarded up the building amid all the demonstrations. Protesters just flooded that area and occupied it for around 6 blocks of that area. And the sign above the station's door has been a little reworked. It said Seattle People's Department East Precinct. Now it says this space is now property of the people. Photos have shown barriers around the area, suggesting that those occupy the area. They're saying it's not Coachella. Bring your sleeping bag. You know, we're here for the long haul. The first event, they're on like night 3 or 4 now, was June 10th, described open to everyone who wants to talk about life in the new autonomous zone, everyone who positions themselves for Black Lives Matter and against police. And they have a list of demands.
Oh, it's always good.
Big banner.
Yeah.
And there's a long list, but here's a couple of the main highlights. So some of the demands: abolishing the police department 100%, 100% defunding. That includes pensions, disallowing the operations of ICE in Seattle, rent control and degentrification of Seattle, free college education, mental health experts on hand for 911 calls. And on the subject of health, this one I was not prepared for.
Foreskin restoration.
No, but I'm sure it's down there on the list.
It's got to be on the list.
We've heard all of these sort of talking points already. This one I had not heard yet. The document called for medical and care facilities to employ Black doctors and nurses specifically to help care for Black patients.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It always works when you have someone Black working on, like Don King. You know, he represented Black fighters so they wouldn't get ripped off or hurt by.
Oh, wait.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it always works. It always works best that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and you know who would probably agree with that demand? Racists.
Yes.
Because that's the way they liked it back then. So why would we? Okay.
Well, it's funny that when the demands trying to stomp out racism end up being racist. You know, like we need Black dorms and we need Black only graduations at college.
Water fountains.
Yeah. We want our own drinking fountains. Yeah.
Own swimming pool.
We like our own counter at the deli.
Yeah. This is odd to me.
Well, it always eats itself, but it also always kind of turns back and becomes whatever it is it was railing against. There's a couple things about this. Obviously, it'll never work. There's no math where this ever works. But the other thing is I saw some pictures and they had put up a smoking section in their new Xanadu. There was like a cardboard sign taped to a tree, and it's like smoking section. And I don't know. I just like it. They've taken over. They've planted their flag in the name of Spain, and it took them. Their first order of business was a smoking section. I thought that's how hyper aware we are of smoking sections now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this guy. Look, I don't. Is Janet Reno still alive? Because we got to dust her off and get her on this shit. Because I know she's the woman to handle this.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because they talked to, of course, the police department, and the whole thing about this movement is they're leaderless, and there's no one in charge, or at least willing to say they're in charge. So the police don't know who to talk to because they don't want another, storm in and wrestle people out of there and make it a big deal. They want to talk to the leaders and negotiate and just peacefully de-escalate. But there's no one to talk to. It's just like it's like a peaceful Thunderdome. But people are apparently walking around with guns and stuff. There's rumors that they won't let certain people in or out. Some news outlets say we didn't see that, but that's what the police are saying. So, we don't know how hairy this is going to get, or if it's just going to be the new utopia and we'll all get on board. Who knows?
It'll be interesting. Obviously it can't work. The problem with the sort of the plan, the new world order where it's like nobody's rich and nobody owns land, or everyone's rich and everyone owns land, and college is free, and everyone gets first class, everyone's entitled to world class health care and all kinds of stuff. I always describe it as sort of a Rubik's Cube, except for a Rubik's Cube, if you do it and you take some time, you can line it all up eventually. Mm-hmm. This is a Rubik's Cube where somebody colored in a bunch of the different squares, and you can twist it.
They pulled off the stickers.
You just keep twisting it and you go, I got it this time. And then you hand it off to another guy. This guy can do it. He's smart. And you just keep turning it, and it'll never line up. That's the problem with this. But it'll be fun to watch.
Well, I don't know if you saw this guy in the news. FedEx has fired one of its New Jersey employees after the man reenacted the death of George Floyd in front of a group of protesters. And you could just watch the clip as I talk about it. This is one of his buddies on the ground with his knee in his neck. And you'll see the rest of the stuff in the clip. So the peaceful protesters, they were flanked by police. They marched past this group of men, the guys standing on this dude's neck, Trump flags, American flags, thin blue line flag, all lives matter signs. The group, which included one man kneeling on another's neck, he shouted at the protesters. FedEx told TMZ the behavior depicted in this video, which involved a FedEx employee, is appalling and offensive. The employee in question was immediately removed from all FedEx work duties while our investigation is concluded and all internal procedures are followed. So don't mess around, people. You're not going to keep your job.
In a world
where...
they
fired him overnight.
Good stuff.
In a world where you can get shit canned for not making a declaration about how you stand with Black Lives Matter, kneeling on a coworker while people are filming it, he had to know.
Yeah.
He had to know that. I always wonder, it's my theory that I developed on Loveline, which is like, I'd go, how did you find out your boyfriend was cheating? It's like, oh, he left his phone out and it was open and there was a text on it and he left it in the kitchen on the counter. And I'm like, I think he wanted to break up.
Yeah.
Like this guy wanted to move on, right? He's got a country band. They're starting to get some traction.
Yeah.
He wanted to leave FedEx, but he didn't want to tell his wife he was quitting and going full country, so he did this. Right.
And now he's got a fan base.
Offer. Yeah, lucrative offer from DHL.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Well, and there's been a few of these signs. There's, a few Facebook profile pictures that's been going around with people jokingly kneeling on people's necks. So I don't know if this is the new meme that's going to get squelched or not.
I thankfully haven't seen it, but these people they cannot be. They all have
One's
to be.
One's like a grandmother.
They have to be self-employed, right?
She's
really?
fallen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let me see. Guys, I don't know if you can find that or not.
We have the video of Nate looking at the celebrity blowhards and the proclamations.
Good.
Now, hold on a second. He's in the business. We make documentaries. Nate is now looking. Now, Nate makes documentaries and movies. So
he's the co-director of Uppity.
Co-director of Uppity. Black Lives Matter's choice on Netflix. All right, he's going to watch it. He should be better at this.
I take responsibility.
The Breaking Bad kid, what's his name?
I knew it.
Responsibility.
Probably some model
I take
girl.
responsibility.
I don't know who that is.
For every unchecked moment. For every time it was
Kristen
easier
Bell.
to ignore than
I remember
to call
her.
out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke.
Don't know that guy.
Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice,
Is that
no
the
matter
girl
how
from
big or small.
Will and Grace?
Every time I remain silent.
Every
That's
time
the
I
bad guy
explained
from
away
the TV
police
show.
brutality.
Oh, that's Ron Howard's daughter, I think.
Or turned a blind eye. I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters, our friends, our family. We are no longer
I know. Is that Piper Parable?
We are no longer by
Piper Parable.
Wow.
Did you get it?
Got Piper
One name check.
Parable.
Enough.
The hardest name there.
No longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes, stereotypes, no matter how big.
I know all these guys' movies. I can name.
I will not turn.
Stanley Tucci, by the way, Fitzdog said no more jokes, no more racially based jokes. He's not going to stand for it. So I don't know. I don't want to
Fucking Italians are like that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't want to tell you what to say, but I'll run your actor Tucci and see if he salutes. If not, he may circle a few jokes. He may have an issue.
Yeah, there's going to be an issue when I play a game called Guess the Asian. which I did on my last special, where I went into the crowd and I guessed the ethnicities of every Asian woman in the crowd with alarming accuracy.
Stanley finds that problematic.
Yes, I would imagine he would.
Okay. I do like now celebrities are blowing so hard that they're announcing that they're not going to endorse any jokes of that could be anything close to racial or allow it.
It's a third of all comedy.
I'd say. Yeah. Okay, Stanley. Thank you. You know what we should do? Get these guys out to. You ever see those wind farms outside of on the way to Palm Springs?
Sure.
Yeah, way to Coachella.
Sometimes you're driving out there and those things aren't doing anything. They're just sitting there frozen. You know what I mean? Not generating any kilowatts. Let's get Tucci and his celebrity buddies from this video to get out there and get those fucking things moving with their fucking blowhard pablum. Wouldn't that be awesome? Tell Tucci.
Bring a lot of good.
Hey, you like clean, green energy? Yeah. You're a mega blowhard? Right. Okay. I just made a fucking peanut butter cup. We'll take you and your fucking blowhardism, and then we'll get those big windmills moving, and we'll light up the city. And I'll go have a date shake over here at Hadley's and laugh my ass off. Sorry. Go ahead, Gina.
Well, in the spirit of Shelley Luther and everything she's done, this is a very interesting story. I think you will probably reference in the coming days. No cases of coronavirus have been linked to 2 Missouri hairstylists who saw 140 clients last month, while symptomatic, according to county health officials and CNN.
Wow.
Both stylists worked at the same Great Clips location. The clients and the stylists all wore face coverings. The salons had set up other measures, social distancing, staggering appointments. Of the 140 clients and 7 coworkers potentially exposed, 46 took the test. They all came back negative. All others were quarantined for the duration of the incubation period. The 14-day incubation period has now passed. No coronavirus cases linked to the salon beyond the 2 stylists. They also checked in with all of the people that didn't get tested and apparently symptom-free, at least right now.
In the salon and nail specialists or technicians, I think she called them.
Nail technicians?
I think.
Yeah, nail tech.
Nail tech, which were right up there, when Trash Man got moved to, sanitary
engineer.
or whatever. Yeah. That's I know euphemism when I hear one.
Started when they started calling comics comedians. Come on.
So now you can look it up there, Max Pata, but nail polish has, I think, benzene in it or something in it that is noxious. It's bad. It's like, it's toxic. I'm not one of these people, but I have walked in. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I've walked into my bedroom and my wife is like done her nails, and you walk in and it's like your eyes start watering. Like
it's pungent.
The nail polish is tough, and it's got to be a brain cell killer. It is not good. And if you ever go into one of those places where they have, like, they do the haircuts here and they got the ladies doing the nails over there, if they don't have that thing with the super induction vent going on, if they don't have Stanley Tucci and company standing next to them blowing toward an exit, it hits hard. And
it stings.
There should be a little more ventilation, because I will bet you, just like we do it with the NFL linemen, they die and then we do the autopsy on their brain and we find all that weird brown in there. I guarantee if you found these women who had 40 years into the nail all day, that's all they do is paint that shit on. I'll bet you if you examine their brain, you'd find the same thing.
Not to mention the fumes coming off some scraggly 70-year-old's toenails.
That's right.
The cheese.
They got CTE.
The between-toe cheese that's happening.
It has
BTC.
toluene in it, which affects the central nervous system, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Its major use is an additive in gasoline. And then some formaldehyde, dibutyl phthalate. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Regular nail polish is kind of toxic shit, and every 13-year-old girl in America is like in her room with the door closed, putting it on with her friends.
Okay.
It's again, look, we're gonna worry about third-hand smoke. We should. Can't they make that stuff with? First off, everything at Home Depot is water-based now. Like, you can't get paint for your fence or primer for your fence that's not water-based, and it's all doesn't smell like anything. What are these ladies doing with their fingernails? I mean, why does it need to be as durable as it is? They must have some green version of that shit, Maxipata. Like, there's got to be some sort of water-based, chemical-free, low-odor, whatever nail polish that nobody wants to use.
You can do gels, and they don't. To my knowledge, from my experience, they don't really have that smell. And literally, you just peel it off; it doesn't chip. But it's very expensive. I think nail polish is cheap. And people are used to it.
Yeah, because you really go through a bottle of that stuff fast. Polishing every other month with 10 strokes of the brush. I mean, when I do foot worship, and I'm a vegan, I insist there's no animals used in the nail polish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't even want that in my mouth.
Yeah. Foot worship.
Yeah.
I always wonder, does that mean you have low self-esteem, or one would have low self-esteem?
I don't know what that. I don't know what would cause somebody to have that.
Well, can I ask this? All the people who explain away all the bizarre, deviant sexual behavior, that whole thing where it's like, well, you know what it starts. You're a little kid, you're 2 years old, your mom is in the kitchen, she's barefoot. Right, so you want to fuck her later? Like, yes, we've all experienced them when we're all 2, and we've all experienced a taller mom walking past us. I didn't start beating off.
Right.
Why is it always explained away that way? Oh, yeah, right. So that's why you're dressing up like a garanimal and butt fucking your neighbor.
Yeah, because my mom gave me a teddy bear when I was 13 and hitting puberty.
Right, she was barefoot, though.
Yeah.
She should have been wearing Uggs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She scrambled your brain sexually.
I think there's something about it, though, that I admire. Like when you watch those, HBO always has those shows late at night, Real Sex,
I know.
where they show all these crazy fetishes.
I would talk more about it, but I have a class action lawsuit that I'm spearheading against them, because I always go, ooh, Real Sex, what do we got here?
Yeah, right.
Is this some hot body competition, or is this...
it's a little too real.
It's like mud wrestling. No. We go to Schnitzelburg, Germany, and it's like heavy... The chick with the fetish, the dude's hung by his nipples in the 70s. It's like, this is the opposite of jackable.
Oh, yeah. Can I get the under 65 version of Real Sex? It's always like, I saw one, and there was a woman riding her husband. They were both naked, and they were both about 60. And he was on all fours, and she was riding him like a horse.
Right.
And he had on a horse bridle.
Yeah.
And then and a little saddle.
Right.
And then as he was riding her, she took a carrot and she put it in front of his mouth, and he took one bite, and then she reached back and she stuck it up his ass, and then everybody had an orgasm. And I was like, good for them. They figured that out. That doesn't come to you easily. There's a lot of trial and error. Maybe could have been a zucchini the first time, and he went, eh.
Hey, if it's...
Well, no, that's why he took a bite. That's why he took a bite, because that pointy end got him a few times.
They had the order correct. The last time, they flip-flopped the order with the bite in the asshole.
Yeah.
Hey, by the by, Fitzdog, I'm going out of town this weekend to Zany's. I need someone to watch the kids. And you have a lot of good stories.
Yeah. Are they having a party where I can entertain?
I think you do it in a more casual way. You sit down, you start talking about Real Sex on HBO. You weave the tale about the pony and the rider and the fella and their unique relationship.
Kids love horses.
Kids love horses.
Yeah, you gals like ponies.
What else, Gina Grad?
So we touched on the firings and stepping down and resigning of Bon Appetit and different places in corporate America. I don't think we talked about CrossFit. CrossFit CEO Greg Glassman has resigned from the workout program he founded 20 years ago after he received backlash from a racist comment he tweeted last weekend about George Floyd.
How awesome is this for Papa John, the Papa John pizza guy, right?
That's right.
Like, this guy was just sitting on the sideline on an empty bench. He got shit canned or Me Too'd or Black Lives Mattered, a year and a half ago. And now he's got company now, right?
Yeah, down in the well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So responding to a tweet suggesting that racism is a public health crisis, Glassman tweeted, "It's Floyd 19. The comment was immediately criticized and saw gyms and companies, including Reebok, ending their relationship with CrossFit. The company issued an apology on behalf of Glassman, but then BuzzFeed News obtained audio of him from a company's Zoom meeting saying that neither he nor his staff are mourning George Floyd. Glassman ultimately decided to resign and issued a statement saying, I cannot let my behavior stand in the way of HQs or affiliates' missions. These are too important to jeopardize.
How do you obtain video of the Zoom meeting?
You can record a Zoom meeting.
They contacted somebody from the meeting.
Yeah, or audio. Yeah, get your phone recording or whatever.
Right. But now, how does it work when you record your Zoom meetings? Should you announce that you're recording? Like, should you know? Like, what is the legal obligation?
There's a red dot on it that says recording, so people know you're recording.
Ours says recording. But they probably just held their phone, and just put it right here and left it recording. Like somebody probably from the Zoom meeting.
So if the audio makes its way to a news outlet, he didn't have a lot of fans, you know what I mean? Like that's someone they made it there for a reason. It wasn't like, oh, this needs to be heard. Like, no, it was a bit of a hit job.
Yeah. All right. It's weird when you start a company. That was the whole Papa John thing. Like he started that company and he's out.
Out politely. Yeah. Out saying I'm doing what's right for, I don't know, a company that I'm no longer at. That means he's got stock options or something, right?
Yeah, he started the company, but now he's got a corporate, parent company or something that owns it, or whoever's putting pressure on him, and then he's got stock, so he probably doesn't want the stocks to go down, so he taps out. It's kind of and I don't know how old he is, but a lot of guys don't retire or don't know when to retire, or don't know how to retire. This is like a forced retirement for a lot of people. All right, again.
I'm glad, because I did CrossFit once, and I had some fucking Nazi ex-Green Beret guy, and I did it for an hour, and I hung in with it. It was the most painful hour of my life. I was sore later. Fuck this guy. I'm glad he's out.
Yeah.
He's 63.
You're right.
Yeah, it's time to retire.
I've never done CrossFit, but I find it shaming because there is a CrossFit gym that's across the way from a warehouse that I own, and they have a lot of glass out front. And when I see those chicks and dudes in there hoisting and doing the deadlifts,
tires,
and pounding tires with a sledgehammer, I'm taking another bite off my hoagie. A little single tear comes down. I'm like that Indian by the side of the highway. I'm like, wow, these people are so fucking disciplined. Look at them.
A single drop of mayonnaise.
Yeah, they should do those places up like strip clubs. You know what I mean? Get rid of all the windows, put up some
blackout
stucco.
curtains.
Fucking spare me.
On stage 9.
That's right.
Andy is doing reps of 150 pounds in your face.
God, who we get next? I don't know. How do you guys feel? I know there's a sort of Schadenfreude aspect of this. I mean, everything sort of boils down to a dynamic, a psychological dynamic. There's something flawed in us, in human beings, because we like to see other people be called out and suffer, an element of I'm glad it's not me, and all that kind of shit. And we used to keep it in check. We used to tamp it down. We used to pretend like we were above it or over that or evolved past it. But we're in a new era where all these horrible sort of inclinations or these horrible facets of being a human being, all the shit they tried to work out of you when you were 9. You know what I mean? Like you can't do this. It's like somebody would slip and fall and smack the ground. And when you were 9, you just laugh your ass off. And then someone said, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Like you're not. Or someone would go, here's your bowl of M&Ms, share them with your sister. And you go, fuck that witch. And you just take them all. And there are all these things that we attempted to kind of push out of young people. We haven't been doing a good job of that. And now the chickens are coming home to roost because we got a whole bunch of fucking people that are digging it when other people are getting fired and canceled and losing their livelihood. And they're announcing that they're digging it, which is that's the jump the shark part, the part where we're vocal about it. We all have feelings like, oh, good, got rid of that guy. I didn't agree with him, but we didn't announce it. We're getting to a place now where we're announcing it. And
celebrating
it. And we need to reel it in a little bit because the whole cancel culture thing is dangerous. It doesn't really have an end. It'll eventually get to everyone. And the reason it'll eventually get to everyone is if you're going to change the rules constantly, then everyone is going to get Me Too'd or Black Lives Mattered eventually, because we're just going to find a picture of the guy who ran Bon Appetit magazine in a beige face from 17 years ago, and then he's going to be shit canned. Like everyone eventually will catch up to everybody.
Well, look at poor Ellen DeGeneres, the nicest woman in America.
She's an angel.
And she got canceled just because she fired her production company during the pandemic.
She's a dear. Well, first off, I don't know her personally, but I've seen her dance, and that has convinced me. Joy. What it is? It's an expression of unbridled joy, and they can't contain herself. And I'm sure her segment producers and others around her probably said, "Do not dance," and she went, "I must.
I must dance.
I gotta dance."
It's how I know I'm alive.
It's the way she connects to the universe and Housewives at the same time.
Yes.
And I worked for her for a couple of years, and I can tell you, just a wonderful person.
The best, right?
The best.
I've been saying that from afar.
Yeah.
But you actually work with her.
Up close and personal, and the joy. She danced in the hallways. It wasn't just on the show.
Wow.
Yeah. If she saw somebody was down, like, a receptionist, she'd go over to that desk and she would dance.
Office door always open,
always open,
or pulled the pins on the hinges and physically removed the door.
Remove the door and put a pass through window. So if you just needed a quick hit of Ellen, you could get that.
I've been a guest on the show a few times. I felt the segment producers. I've never seen people more comfortable, at ease. Relaxed. Some would come in and I'd say, I'm going to talk about my family vacation. And they go, or not.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's up to you. And they walk out.
And it was also tears of joy. I saw a lot of employees crying. And it's tears of joy.
I'll tell you, and by the way, don't sleep on the French dip. They had a carving station. I don't know if it was, a craft service. I don't know if it's this the day I was there. It was a Thursday, I assume. But they do a French dip. They have a carving station.
Yeah. Thinly sliced.
Au jus.
Right.
Out of this world.
Girl Scout cookies year-round, not just the spring. She finds because it's in other countries, Girl Scout season is different times.
I heard her talking to an intern. First off, I had learned there were 4 new interns that day. She called them all by name. And I was like, you took the time to remember everyone's name,
right?
And welcome them onto the set. It was such it felt safe.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would ever leave.
If you're a guest on the show, she goes and introduces you to the interns when you're a guest.
Yeah, why would you ever leave the warmth of that ingratiating hug?
Do you know where I went from writing on that show? I went from writing on that show to the following week I wrote on The Man Show. It was the biggest 180 in show business history.
Neck brace.
Really?
Yeah, I wrote after you guys left. I wrote for Rogan and Stanhope.
I was going to say, we'd have guys like Jeff Ross and guys that kind of float in and float out and ride it home and stuff like that. I didn't know. Did we employ? All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.